안녕하세요 여러분, 오늘은 우리의 K-pop 시간입니다. 그리고 오늘의 주인공은 BTS 방탄소년단입니다. Happy 2019 to all of you. Thank you very much for your support. Now, if you look back on 2018, one of the things that swept the world off its feet is definitely K-pop.
What is your latest obsession? What's the thing you're obsessed with these days?
K-pop.
And that was back in 2015. Just imagine it 2-3 times more popular now than it was back then. So many people talking about K-pop music, mainstream media, the music industry, the internet, the high school kids that I meet up with at my speeches. These people are crazy about these K-pop stars, and it's nuts. So today I want to talk about this phenomenon, this frenzy. With all due respect, I do not know much about K-pop music. I had to go through countless news and fan articles and videos to get a big picture of it. But I gotta say, this phenomenon is quite intriguing. I did host a radio show featuring K-pop music back in 2013. At the time being, there was 2NE1, too bad they disbanded. There was CN Blue, FT Island. There was also Sonyosite, FX, Brown Eyed Girls. I was actually at a Miss A's press conference in Taipei. That was really fun. I actually got to greet them in simple Korean. It was fun. But nowadays, it's a whole new ballgame. You're starting to hear more and more K-pop music on mainstream American radio. And it's kind of different from the 2012 Gangnam Style frenzy.
Oppan Gangnam Style!
Gangnam Style was a big hit, there's no doubt about it. But I always feel that it was kind of more like a one-hit novelty act. And what separates now from then is, I think that in recent years, K-pop music has finally made its mark in the Western music scene. And when you talk about it, you have to give credit to this boy group, BTS 방탄소년단. In addition to all the domestic music awards they've won in Korea, they've actually exploded internationally as well, especially last year, 2018. In June, their third full album, Love Yourself, Tear, debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, and that makes them the only K-pop act to achieve this so far. In September, BTS became the first K-pop group to give a speech at the United Nations as ambassadors for UNICEF. In October, they were featured on the cover of Time magazine, referring to them as next generation leaders. And that's just the tip of an iceberg. They were on talk shows, Ellen, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, James Corden. They were collaborating with Western artists, Steve Aoki, designer Nicki Minaj, Fall Out Boys, Whale, The Chainsmokers. One of the members, Jungkook, collabed live on stage with Charlie Puth at the 2018 NBC Plus X Genie Music Awards in Incheon. And the list goes on. Apparently, they're also making some new starry friends.
I would love to get together with you guys and do some writing or whatever and sing some stuff. Of course.
I brought you guys a present.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a present.
In the building, man. We just took some awards home, man. I got my brothers here.
We got our boys right here. Let's go. Woo!
But their story is even more fascinating. Now correct me if I'm wrong, Army. In the Korean music scene, most artists and groups come from one of the big three agencies, SM, JYP, YG. For example, Twice with everybody's favorite Zhou Ziyu. Well, they're from JYP. EXO, one of the best. They're from SM. And a lot of people's favorite, Big Bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
They're from YG. These companies are extremely sophisticated. They often recruit their talents at a very young age, and it could take years of practice and development before they actually stage these artists. They scout all around the world. Every decision is carefully calculated. Many of these talents are chosen to cater to a specific demographic, and so many of these K-pop group members, they're from different countries with different cultures who speak different languages. You can barely make it in the Korean music scene without being under these three agencies. And that's the first thing that makes BTS so special. BTS members were successively recruited in 2010 by a small startup called Big Hit Entertainment, beginning with the leader of the group, RM, Rap Monster. Then there was Jin, Jimin, Suga, J-Hope, V, Jungkook. However, it wasn't until 2013 that they announced their official lineup and then released their first MV, No More Dream, and their first single album, Too Cool for School. By the end of the year to early 2014, they've already garnered several New Artist of the Year awards, which was a great start, but still far from huge in Korea. In the next couple of years, they continued to grow rapidly, but personally, if you were to ask me, I would say 2016 was the major turning point where they set their foundation for international stardom. At the end of 2016, they won their first Daesang, which is grand prize, at the Melon Music Awards for Best Album of the Year. That was a huge breakthrough. And then Artist of the Year at the Mnet Asian Music Awards. Earlier in October 2016, they hit #1 on the Billboard Social 50 chart. 56 weeks later, they broke Justin Bieber's record for most consecutive weeks at #1. And the record went on to 77 weeks. Currently, they're still at #1 with 107 weeks at the spot. We'll get back to this part in a while. 2017, their album Love Yourself Her was the first K-pop album officially sold on Amazon, and then their MV for DNA killed it on YouTube, and things just took off. While BTS is still rocketing through the sky, their agency Big Hit Entertainment went from underdog to a company which is shaking the traditional status of the Big Three. It's speculated that Big Hit Entertainment will go public in the near future, and when they do, many reports estimate that their capitalization will hit 1 trillion won, which surpasses all of the Big Three. So how on earth did this underdog company, Big Hit Entertainment, and BTS achieve this all? There's just too many factors into play. But after digesting all the information, the articles, the videos that I've read and watched, I would, from my personal view, give credit to these 3 major factors. #1, Big Hit gives the members lots of freedom. You can see this in a couple of matters. One of them is their music. Bang Si-hyuk, the founder and CEO of Big Hit, says it's not right for Big Hit to interfere with their music and that the members' intention is the most important thing. So in a sense, BTS's music stays authentic. We know that RM, Suga, J-Hope, they do a lot of the songwriting, and the other members have participated on some of the tracks too. They do have some producers that they work with, like Slow Rabbit, P-Dog, but in all, their music is not something manufactured by a professional production team to fit a specific market. Their music genuinely represents themselves. It's what they think, what they want to truly convey to their fans. Another thing which is rare in the Korean music scene that BTS has is freedom to use their own social media accounts. Bang Si-hyuk says, Big Hit keeps the members free when it comes to their own social media accounts, not only because the boys are well in tune with how to use social media, but also because of Big Hit's relative inexperience with the media. On seeing this, Bang Si-hyuk comes across as a very humble person to me. He's not trying to interfere with or control something that he or the company does not fully understand. And they trust that the members know best on how to handle themselves. For instance, all of the 7 members post on the same Twitter account. They've been using this even before they were officially announced. On the other hand, the Big Three's artist's official Twitter account is managed by the agency, while personal tweets can be found on the members' individual accounts. This is what the Big Three's artists' official Twitter accounts look like. It's delicately managed, it looks beautiful, it's perfect. On the other hand, here's BTS's Twitter account. You can tell there is a major difference. It's just daily random stuff, it's truly unpolished. Now I'm not saying which is better than the other, it's just 2 very different management styles, which give fans very different feels. In BTS's case, they just look like people among you and me who happen to be in the K-pop scene, which is more realistic, more relatable to average people like you and me. And that probably gives some reason to why they have such a huge following on social platforms compared to the other K-pop stars. And that also explains why they're at the #1 spot on the Social 50 chart, which we just mentioned. The chart is a popularity chart which ranks the most active musical artists on social networking platforms. Now, if you compare BTS to the likes of Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez, who've also been on the #1 spot before, BTS's number of followers on social platforms is no match for them at all. Which means we can guess that there must be a whole lot of interaction between BTS and their fans on the social platforms to make them #1 on the spot. And so no surprise, in March 2016, BTS were listed by Forbes as the most retweeted artists on Twitter. Several months later, #1 on the Billboard Social 50 chart. So this freedom they have in the creation of their music and the interaction between them and their fans on social networks is definitely a crucial factor to their success. #2, they are socially conscious. BTS's music often touches on a myriad of social and political issues, which is often shied away from in the Korean music scene. This includes mental health, class divide, generation stereotypes, and so on. And this strikes a chord with not only their fans, but also non-fans. To give you an example, one of their tracks in 2015, Pipse, is it Pipse or Bapse? I've heard both. But anyways, this song talks about the pressure of this generation, and the lyrics goes like, 알바 가면 열정 페이. At my part-time job, it's like I'm doing it out of passion. for the experience, so the pay isn't going to be well. 학교 가면 선생님. When I go to school, there's the teachers. 상사들은 행패. My superiors use violence, which is something that actually happens in their society. This was on the news before. 언론에선 맨날 몇 퍼센트. In the media, they go on about the generation that's given up. The lyrics are what this generation of Koreans are experiencing in their daily lives. And so when they hear the music, they feel like they're being understood. And this is just one of the many songs like this. Other than that, BTS gives back to society a lot. They're known to donate a lot out of their own pockets, and they collaborate with their agency to help others in need. They also collaborate with different organizations, including the UNICEF, as we just mentioned, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. So they just come across as these 7 very warm and big-hearted boys from the music scene. Number 3. They have amazingly great group chemistry. Not every K-pop group gets along well. No offense, but you might have heard of the Tiara bullying incident, which went all over the news. It's not easy for everybody in a big group to get along well with each other. But that doesn't seem to be the case for BTS. Not saying that they don't get into fights with each other, they do sometimes, but all in all, the group chemistry is good. They not only get along well with each other, but they also get along well with their staff and agency. When BTS won their first Taesang in 2016, and a few weeks later, Artist of the Year, you can see their reaction. You can see their staff and producer truly feeling happy for them. Last October, with 1 more year on their contract, BTS decided to renew their contract in advance with Big Hit Entertainment for another 7 years. BTS said, "We respect our mentor, producer, and Big Hit founder Bang Si-hyuk, who has continued to show us a vision for our future from even before debut and have helped us form our perspective of the world and music. With Big Hit Entertainment's support, we'll continue to strive to give our best for our fans all around the world." You can see how much they trust each other. There's a saying that goes in business, happy employees make happy customers. Because BTS has freedom in what they do and they have the trust of their agency, so they continue to produce more value for their fans. And the fans, they feel this, so they're giving back like crazy. For instance, the Korean fans, they're always very, very quick to translate all the lyrics, the official announcements to their international fans. And this benefits the international fan base. So it's this good chemistry, this good atmosphere among the company, the artists themselves, the staff, the fans that contribute to this sensational phenomenon. And that's what I think propelled BTS and Big Hit Entertainment to where they are today. If you ask me personally how I feel about BTS, well, I gotta say I'm not a big follower of K-pop music, but after getting to know their story, they do have my respect. I respect them for persisting when nobody had high hopes for them. I respect them for using their influence to help others who are in need, to help change the world for the better. And I wish that every one of us, including me, could do it just like them. To do our own bit, no matter how big of an impact we can make, every effort, every single one of us counts. BTS, awesome. You and me, we can do awesome things too. 자, 오늘의 영상은 마치겠습니다. 우리 다음에 또 만나요. 빠이!